What's good, folks? Welcome to the Afterthought here, and this is your boy Z the Real. And this is just something to basically, this is more of a statement. Okay, this is just something to clarify what I've been saying on my social media since the season started. For those who've been watching my last video, for those who've been watching my last Clipper video, I told y'all what will help the Clippers become a better team and what will help the Clippers get out the second round and finally reach a Western Conference Finals is that they need a small forward, they need a shooting guard, and they need a bench. With the Clippers trading Chris Paul, they basically have what they've been missing. I told you, they have Gallinari, who's basically the small forward they never had. The man is 6'10". Not only can he give you a good three-point shot, but he can also average 25 to 30-something points or more. I told y'all, Gallinari last year when he was on the Nuggets had a game where he dropped 40 points. Him paired up with DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin is a defensive front court the Clippers have never had in a very long time. Milos Teodosic is a way better upgrade than J.J. Redick. Milos Teodosic in his European leagues over the last 10 years has done way more over there than what J.J. Redick's done his entire NBA career. J.J. Redick's stats don't equal up to Milos Teodosic in his European leagues. And for some of you that don't know about Milos Teodosic, do not sleep on these European players. Like I said, players like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker have shown you what European League players can do in this league. Okay? So Teodosic was a way better replacement for Redick. And then having Lou Williams basically replaces Jamal Crawford, who is older. Jamal Crawford is 38 years old. He can't play that same pace no more, that same level. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Crawford, I don't like talking about him too much. I got respect for Crawford, but he's starting to become senile on that court because he don't have that same shot no more. He don't have the same clutch no more. It was time to release him anyway. But Chris Paul, okay? But so for those that think the Clippers are bad or terrible, now they don't have Chris Paul, you need to think again right now. Yeah, Chris Paul is one of my favorite point guards in the league. I'm not going to lie. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But the problem with Chris Paul now is that he's 32 years old and he's starting to have more injuries. Chris Paul is now starting to have the same problem with his knees he's been had the last, 8-9 seasons. Those are the same knee surgeries he suffered when he was with the Hornets, okay? Y'all remember, Chris Paul was out for an entire season due to knee surgery. Now he's having them same problems. Chris Paul, sad to say, he can't guard these younger 23, 24, 25-year-olds. These guards that under the age of 30, he can't run to that pace no more. You know what I'm saying? The lineup with the Clippers have just wasn't working with CP3. And furthermore, too, man, Chris Paul is too ball dominant anyway. For those that know Doc Rivers' coaching style personally, he knows what he does to win a championship and what it took to him to get out the second round. Doc Rivers' system based upon touches. Everybody getting to touch the ball. It's based on ball movement, okay? The point guards that Doc Rivers have had in the past besides CP3 have all basically been more assist guys. Like Rajon Rondo was a more of assist guy. Rajon Rondo gets rid of the ball quickly. Rajon Rondo don't hold the ball for like 8-9 seconds in the clock. Chris Paul's style is more isolation plays. He's more one-on-one style basketball, man-on-man. Okay? When Doc Rivers was coaching the Orlando Magic back in the Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill days, and when he had the Boston Celtics, that team was more towards ball movement. Everybody got a touch on the ball. You know what I'm saying? When he used the ball movement, they wasn't taking them 10 seconds off the clock. They wasn't taking them 8-9 seconds. They didn't run a lot of isolation plays. Okay? So the Clippers needed to change their lineup anyway. Now that Chris Paul gone, Blake Griffin, as you can see, is playing way better now. Why? Because Blake Griffin now has freedom. Okay? There's people giving him the ball. He's able to do more now with Chris Paul gone. Yeah, Chris Paul can regulate. Yeah, Chris Paul can dominate when he's on a gooder night. Yeah, Chris Paul will keep you in the game. But the problem is Chris Paul can't close. That's been a problem for him. The reason why this Rocket team beat the Clippers when Chris Paul was there, that 3-0 lead, because Chris Paul wasn't a closer at all. Okay, that just wasn't a problem. He's not going to lead. He's not going to close no team out. And furthermore, too, man, Chris Paul is the type of player, he needs things done his way. When Chris Paul is not getting his way, it's going to become a problem. If he's not getting the ball enough, there's a problem. And this is why the locker room wasn't getting along with Chris Paul. This is why DeAndre Jordan wanted to leave the first time. And I told y'all that. Chris Paul was getting on players' cases because he either wasn't playing to his style or just was a problem for the locker room. Yeah, I know you're a leader, but if you're a leader, you got to take responsibility for your own actions right now. And Chris Paul's problem, like I said, he's not the best point guard in the league. Let's keep that out the way now. Before y'all even begin going on my comments, arguing with me, Listen to what I got to say. You all do not let Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless basically convince y'all that Chris Paul is the best point guard in the league, because he's really not. Chris Paul hasn't been the best point guard in the league for at least 5-6 seasons from now. Matter of fact, the days of Chris Paul being the best point guard are since then long gone. Chris Paul hasn't been the best point guard in the league since 2013, 2014. Actually, yeah, since then. Matter of fact, since, like I said, since the Clippers lost to the Thunder in 2014, his days of being the best ain't there no more. Like I said, since then, since Steph Curry has won the MVP twice now, since James Harden has been the runner-up twice, since the emergence of Damian Lillard and John Wall, Isaiah Thomas last year, who averaged 29 points. Chris Paul is not averaging 29 points like that no more. Okay, those are guards that are better than Chris Paul. Matter of fact, let's go down the line now. For those that still think Chris Paul is the best point guard in the league, Steph Curry, 2-time league MVP, he's number 1. Russell Westbrook last year, triple-double machine, he's number 2 right now. He's beaten Oscar Robinson's all-time Hall of Fame record. Okay? That man has won over 47 games with a triple-double. James Harden at point guard. James Harden as a guard is better than Chris. James Harden could basically lead a team. Now, he could dominate the paint. He can do way more for you than Chris Paul can do at this stage of the game right now. Chris Paul, 31, 32 years old, is just not going to do it no more. I'll put James Harden ahead of Chris Paul. And like I said, then you have Kyrie Irving. Okay, Kyrie Irving helped LeBron James deliver an NBA title to Cleveland. Kyrie Irving has to have games where he's dropped 50 points. You see what Kyrie Irving is doing now that he's in Boston. He's playing way more better, way more efficient. He's dropping way more numbers than we did with Cleveland. Kyrie Irving even said it. LeBron James was holding him back. Now you see this now. With LeBron James going, he's getting more touches. You see what he can do right now. Kyrie Irving is basically leading his team. He's carrying his team. He's carrying that Celtics. He's going to carry that Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you have John Wall, okay? John Wall, since the last 2 years, is basically becoming a better and better point guard. Again, John Wall has more height. He has a height advantage over Chris Paul. He has good handles. He has defense. John Wall is just like another Russell Westbrook, okay? And he has Scott Brooks with him, okay? I'll put John Wall ahead of Chris Paul right now. Then there's Klay Thompson at 6. Klay Thompson can do everything Steph Curry can pretty much do. That's why there's Splash Brothers. Klay Thompson had his game last year where he dropped 60 points. Chris Paul ain't dropping no 60 points like that at all, okay? I will put him above Chris Paul. And of course, you got Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard proved 2 years ago that he's better than Chris Paul. And yeah, Chris Paul got hurt, but like I told y'all, man, Chris Paul's body has a lot of wear and tear on it. He already has a lot of mileage on him. Damian Lillard is younger than him, but Damian Lillard actually has a clutch 3. Okay, again, Damian Lillard, I feel, can do more than Chris Paul at his age. So y'all gotta understand it, man. Chris Paul's age is starting to show as of now. Father Time is starting to catch up to this man. He's going through the same problem he's going through with Dwayne Wade. The reason why Dwayne Wade chose to come off the bench now because Dwayne Wade is not averaging the points he's had back in his earlier years when he was with the Miami Heat. He's not that same player no more. The stats he had with the Chicago Bulls is not going to get that with this Cleveland Cavalier team. Dwayne Wade knows he's on the team with LeBron James. He's going to be getting the ball more. You got J.R. Smith. You got Kevin Love. Those guys are going to get more touches. Tyronn Lue is running a different system that doesn't fit in with Wade. Wade is having a problem adjusting. And I'm sad to say this, but Chris Paul can't be the point guard for the Rockets no more. If the Rockets going to want to succeed, they're going to have to leave James Harden at the point guard position. James Harden, to me, is another Steve Nash. And let's keep this real, too. Yeah, Steve Nash was 31, 32 years old when he was the league MVP, but Steve Nash didn't have injuries like Chris Paul had. Steve Nash didn't have problems with his knees. Steve Nash didn't have knee problems until when he got to the Lakers. And that was when he was 38, 39 years old, or 37. When Steve Nash was with Dan D'Antoni, the first time he was in Phoenix, Steve Nash was still a decent player. That man was still good. That man didn't have no surgeries. He wasn't out 2 to 4 weeks at a time or a month. Steve Nash had energy. Steve Nash had explosiveness. He didn't have the same type of skill set that Chris Paul has anyway. Yeah, Steve Nash was more of a John Stockton type player. But still, man, Steve Nash and Chris Paul are 2 different players anyway. Steve Nash can adjust and play to a different style. Steve Nash don't have to go one-on-one all the time or man-on-man or isolation plays. So y'all gotta understand this too. What Chris Paul is gonna need to do, he's gonna either need to come off the bench, let Eric Gordon start over him, or he's going to have to go to the shooting guard position because he's not going to be able to go to point guard no more. It's going to be a 85-plus game season. He's not going to be able to play that no more. And that's if they want to keep him healthy, if he don't want to suffer no more injuries. But that's just it, folks. Yeah, I like Chris Paul. He's one of my favorite guards of all time, but he's not the best point guard in the league no more. The Clippers was right to basically trade him anyway. And now that Jerry West is the general manager of that team, Jerry West, this was the best move Jerry West could make, man. Jerry West knows that Chris Paul can't go up against those Steph Curry. Okay, he has problems going against a John Wall. You know what I'm saying? He has problems going against a Kyrie Irving. He knows this already, man. So what Jerry West did, he made the smart move and trade Chris Paul and get like 8 pieces back. Patrick Beverley is a defensive guard who can start for you. He signed Theodosius from the European leagues, okay? Lou Williams comes off the bench. It's just like another Jamal Crawford, but younger version of Crawford, okay? He's made the smart moves. But that's all I wanted to say, man. And like I said, if y'all comment, please, you know what I'm saying, comment on what you think, how Chris Paul would do. Comment on what you think the Clippers record would be at the end of the season. Matter of fact, comment how you think James Harden and Chris Paul would gel or work out together. Because to me, I don't see it. Because the problem with Chris Paul and James Harden, they're both ball dominant anyway. And James Harden, to me, is better at the point guard position anyway. He's more comfortable at that position. I don't think how James Harden and Chris Paul be comfortable with each other. They're not going to get enough touches. Because Chris Paul needs the touches in the ball in his hand for him to shine. Because I told you, Chris Paul likes going man-on-man. He likes going one-on-one style basketball. Chris Paul can't really play that fast-paced style D'Antoni is playing. Chris Paul don't play that no more. Okay? D'Antoni run the system that Chris Paul ran when he was with Monty Brown or Monty Williams with the New Orleans Pelicans back in the day. This is not the same Chris Paul no more. Maybe when Chris Paul was 23, 24, then I could see him fitting in with this Rockets team. But this is a different Rockets team. This is more of a fast-paced basketball team. And we seen that last year. D'Antoni, just like Tom Thibodeau, will play his starters at least 30-plus minutes. I don't see Chris Paul getting 30 minutes a game like that no more. Not with those injuries. Y'all stay tuned, stay blessed, and I'll see you soon.